I had been watering some trees to the north of the house. Suddenly I heard some real high bellowing. I thought, what is that? It sounds very close. So I walked towards where I parked my car to the west of the house. Then I saw a brown body. And here I was looking straight at Rusty. He was just a few feet south of where that black metal bench is on the edge of the lawn. Right away I called the dogs and we ran into the side entrance of the house where the ramp is. I was once chased by an angry Angus bull, so I hold them in respect. Then I called you. The next time I looked out, they were walking towards the watering trough. But the horses were there. They must have threatened the bulls because obviously they went back down the driveway. I bet he really savored his hours of freedom. Good thing his girlfriends weren't nearby or he would have jumped the fence. And that's from our neighbor.
Welcome to Homesteading a Dime at a Time. I'm Greg, Bernie's behind the camera. Today we got a little special episode for you. Our fence here, and Mr. I like to go through fences. Oh, he's a
That
good
would
boy.
be him.
Well, anyways, our fence before was pretty rickety, and apparently he got out and he went to our neighbors.
So,
If you follow the road there,
okay, so
it goes down and you see that little bit of a driveway.
hang on, we'll walk to the road because we don't have to go too far. So
They took
our neighbors are way the heck up there, not quite at the ridge line, but there's one set of trees you can see way the heck down there. That's, oh wait, that's the start of their driveway. We're gonna go over here. Might be able to see your house. It's
through that old tree there, dead tree, you can see the house.
So if you look at the pole, there's a house up in there. I guess our bulls went all the way down their driveway. What is it?
That's
a kilometer and a half? Just her driveway alone?
Her driveway's like half a mile.
Half a mile. We're not in kilometers today for some reason.
3/4 of a click.
3/4 of a click. And I usually walk this road, and this road is usually I can walk over 2 clicks and I'm still not at her driveway. So there's a tree line right down there. Okay, so keep that tree line in mind. So today, we'll just film Greg and the bull. Today, I went back to bed because I was really tired. I didn't sleep last night. I get a call from our neighbor, and that would be the neighbor that lives up there. Bernie, your bull is out. He's up by the horses. I said, oh my God, and she went, well, all 3 bulls are out. I'm like, oh my God, no, and I'm all by myself at home. So, what do I do? I tried to call Greg, I couldn't get a hold of him. So, I jumped in the tractor, and we're just gonna look at Greg here. I jumped in the tractor, and I got a bucket of grain, and I've trained the cows, and for you budding homesteaders, even if people laugh at you, do yourself a favor. Train your cows to come to grain. Get a call that works, and use it when you're feeding grain, because when you do that, your cows will come to you, hopefully, for grain. So anyway, I drove the tractor. Remember that tree line? Let's go up high. I drove the tractor. I met them at the tree line, all 3 bulls. And I drove home coaxing them with grain, throwing it out on the ground every now and then so that they would eat it. And I got here, I got them into the fence line, but only the little bull didn't go in. He's, what is he, 6 months maybe? 5 months? 5, 6 months. So what happened was, that ditch there, the SUV's on the edge of the ditch. So the little bull went running down the ditch line, and we don't have a 3-wheeler or 4-wheeler, nothing. So I went ahead of him in the tractor, turned the tractor around and herded him through the ditch with the tractor. I swear to God, our coyote worked overtime today. And then I came to this. I managed to get that fence up, and it was teetering, really rickety, but I got it up anyway. I parked the tractor over here to block the cows from coming through. But there was like, from that post to about there, open. And I couldn't block it. So I was calling Greg. I finally got a hold of Greg. And I asked him to call Logan, because I thought Ken would be in the field baling, and I'm not going to bother him when he's baling. Yeah, that's me. And then, oh, I don't know, about 10 minutes later, Ken shows up, and we start. Well, what actually I did was I took Rusty, and these are all Jersey bulls, keeping in mind how mean they can be, and they're pretty much teddy bears today. But I walked, calling them all the way down, got under the fence. By that time, Ken was here, and he lifted it up for me. I coaxed them into our little pasture, gave them some grain, blocked them in the little pasture so that we could do the fence in peace. And by the time we got back here and we were lifting up this part of the fence, Greg showed up. And you can take it from there.
Well, so anyways, we needed some supplies. So Bernie jumped in the SUV and went and got supplies, not realizing no keys in the tractor. She had them in her pocket. So next time if there's an emergency, always leave all your keys in the vehicles and your doors open, because in an emergency, you don't have time looking for stuff. That's a homesteading rule. After you're all said and done, yeah, you can take the keys out of the tractor, but if you're doing emergency stuff, leave everything run. Don't shut it off, because it's too much. I know it sounds, you know, you're listening to the tractor run or whatever, but if you need to get up and go, like right now, everything is running. You just jump on it, take off. It's so much simpler. But then again, everybody has their habits and they still do the stuff. But anyways, I use big wood screws and I use heavy washers. So now this is
So
solid.
the original,
reason I use washers is because a wood screw, just like a nail, it'll pull through. This way you gotta actually, you literally break the screw.
so this fence on that side where you're standing was attached to that pole, wasn't it, at one point in time?
See, what happened was they have another fence in here, another post, but it's not attached to nothing. They drove this big bugger in.
Are you sure?
Yeah, this one wasn't here before.
Oh, okay.
The other one's right here, the old one.
Yeah.
The one's sitting right there.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of wiggly. So that's what probably happened. They never attached my fence to my corner to this corner post. So they could have touched it and just fell, and once it all fell over, it probably just all fell over.
Yeah, because it's pretty heavy.
It is really heavy.
Yeah.
But later on, what I want to do, eventually, I want to drive another big post, or actually a steel post here, and where this big glass insulator is.
Oh, up there.
Like right here, I want to pound in two 10-foot, 6-inch posts, drive them right in the ground. And that way I'm going to have two big swinging gates here. Then I'm going to have them so I can lock them, not chain lock, but a bar lock on top, so
Yeah.
the bulls can't push them. Then what I'm going to do too is I'm going to have a removable post where you pound a pipe in, and what I'm going to do is pound a pipe in, and then I'm going to take a weld neck flange, it's a pipe flange, then I'm going to weld it on, then my upright will just be just another bolt-on flange, and I can just, you set it down and you just put the 4 bolts in, hand tighten them, it's good enough. It's just so when they push, the center part of the post it'll hit up against it, and it just gives it more support. But if I have to bring any equipment in, the bolts will be ground level. You just take the bolts off, and then you can just pull it off, and she should be good.
The other thing I want to say too is, if you know your fence is rickety, fix it before a problem occurs. Because when a problem occurs, it's a pain in the royal ass. And this has been,
Rusty's tired.
yeah, he's tired. This has been 2 years in the making. I've been wanting this fence replaced, and it never gets replaced, never gets fixed. And now today, look what happened. So,
Well,
fix your stuff, guys.
yeah.
And when you're running bulls, you really do have to be careful, because if he had gone into another pasture, it'd have been a little hard for me to deny that there were Jersey babies in that pasture with those beef cows, because Jersey babies are easy to identify.
Just look at Kassie.
Well, yeah, but Kassie now, she looks, oh yeah, Kassie, sorry. I keep thinking about Star.
Oh Oh, Star, sorry.
Well, Star looks more like a beef cow now.
Yeah.
But look at him. He's pooped. He ran all the way down from that fence line to our place, which is over 2 kilometers behind my tractor. Not ran per se, you know, a little trot, whatever cows do, you know. And every time he lost interest, I just throw out some grain. So when you're going to get your bulls, be smart about it. Don't put yourself in danger, but you do have to go get them, right? And luckily for me, him and the other big bull were in. No problems whatsoever. It was just the little one that didn't want to go in.
But see, with Rusty and...
Oh, sorry about the wind, guys.
Oh, yeah. With Rusty and Cass,
Oops, where's his
we
head?
kind of spoiled them when they were little. And so that kind of helps us because they're calm to us. And the only bad thing is we haven't really spent the time that we spent with Rusty and Casling that we should have spent with Little Man. So he's not really, like, he's friendly, but Rusty and Cass, they like their scratches, so they'll come right up to you and want their scratches. And
yeah, but since they've been born, I've been calling them, and they know my call, and they're still. I shouldn't.
They were spoiled when they were young, so
yeah.
they knew when we called them, they'd come.
I shouldn't say this out loud, but normally they know that when I call them, usually there's grain at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. Every now and then I fake them out, but they're pretty good. And I mean, Little Man, he was okay. He stopped in the middle of the road, let me scratch his head and give him scratches, but he just had no interest to go through that fence line. So that's why I chased him down through the ditches with the tractor. God, thank God nobody was watching. How embarrassing. But like, you know, homesteaders, this is one of those times when you just, if you want to run for your camera and film it to get it on YouTube or wherever, have at her. But for me, it was more important to get the bulls in and secured than it was to film it for YouTube, because if he would have gotten into another fence, and believe me, all the way down he called his lovelies and none of them came to his aid, thank God. But if he starts impregnating beef cows, that's a lot of money on the hook that we don't have to pay for all those friggin' babies and lost revenue. So fixing and getting them secure was way more important. What are you laughing about?
I was just saying, if you think homesteading is just going to be an easy, slick thing, yeah, you got another thing coming.
Yeah.
Tell you one thing, being a homesteader, there's never a dull moment because something's always going on.
Hell yeah.
It's just the way it is. Like, every farmer will tell you that the only ones that don't have an exciting life are grain farmers, but cattle farmers, there's always something going on. They always are chasing something, always chasing that. You know, we love our cows.
Whoops, sorry.
Most of our cows are fairly quiet and docile. Like, Rusty right now, I could walk up to him and pet him and he'd love it. So, but I'm not going to do it right now because I don't feel like jumping a fence.
Greg, Bernie says, shouldn't get in and play with the bulls because one day they're going to play with you.
Yeah.
And it won't be pretty.
Yeah.
Hey, Rust.
Hi, Rusty.
Fucking shithead. There's my big boy. We're thinking of getting rid of him and keeping Taz, but I'll tell you, it was Rusty that was behind the tractor eating the grain, while Taz and Little Man were just smelling their roses and tiptoeing down the road. They still kept coming, but they were in no bloody hurry. And that's what I like about Rusty. You know, I mean, he's past the age of Jersey Bull, 2 years old. I think he's 3 or is he 4?
He's 3, 4.
He's 3 or 4, I don't even remember. I think we got him in 2017 actually, in the spring. And he hasn't turned yet, but I don't trust him, put it that way. Although, you know, through the fence he gets his scratches and I get my chin licks and he gets nose kisses, but when there's other cows in the other pastures, like, you can't see it now, but there's cows across the street and he's got lovelies in there. And there's cows down there, and there's cows in there, and he's got ladies everywhere. And you know, that's the funny thing about the fence line, because the other day we were up at our neighbors, the one that lives down there, is the only neighbor on the road, and that fence was down.
And he never went across it. He could have walked across it and never did.
No, he was just laying beside it while the other cows were trying to get over to him. So it's really weird, but you always got to be prepared on a homestead. And some things are just going to happen whether you want them to or not, even if you've been asking for a fence to be repaired for 2 years, but we won't talk about that. But things happen, right? Yep. Shit happens, and you just take care of it. Thanks to Ken and Marilyn.
Yeah.
Thanks to Ken and Marilyn for coming out to my aid. So happy.
And that's the nice thing about homesteading. Be friends with your neighbors.
Yeah.
Because it'll come in very extremely handy.
Oh,
I helped
time.
Ken out huge, big time.
And Ken helps us big time.
And today was one time that we needed it.
Remember when he came out for him and Logan for
Oh, that was
Jackson the Strong?
yeah.
We had to give Jackson a needle. My God, that cow's strong. And we needed 4 people.
To hold her head just in place.
Yeah. Logan gave the needle. Ken had her in a headlock. I had the halter, and I'm not sure what Greg was doing.
Oh, I was holding her too.
Yeah, and then we got her a needle. So, as a homesteader, just, you know, you just, things happen, and you just got to be aware of it as best you can, and then deal with it. But I would say don't not do it because you're scared of this and that, because there's no better life. There's absolutely no better life. I mean, I could have had a better time not running around in my PJs today, but so be it.
It was just like when we had Max here. He was a spoiled cow. Like he was spoiled. Like he's still spoiled.
Yeah, I got to go see him.
But the thing of it is, yes, he got out. He walked through a few fences. But the thing of it is, I walk up to him because I go, "Come on, Max." I make that like a shushing noise, and he just followed me. He'd follow me right out, and I'd just bring him back in, and he'd just follow me, and he'd go, and I didn't need grain, and he just followed, and I just fixed the fence, and then he showed me how he got out, ripped the fence down again, just like how he did the first time, and I called Ken. I says, "I need him gone because he's in the bee yard."
Yeah.
Ken says, "I got to protect my honey," and put it up Max, and we brought him to his yard, and he ain't getting out of that fence because that's half-inch steel cable with steel posts. It ain't moving.
Yep.
But like again, he was a spoiled calf, but at least the one thing you could walk up to him and you could always tell him you could always ask him to come with you and he'd follow you.
Yeah.
So it might sound stupid, but if you have 4 or 5 cows, you know, and if they are going to meet, there's one way to look at it. You can spoil them and love them. You know, it's kind of hard when you got to go butcher them, but at least you could say they were well loved the whole time that, you know, you had them. And that's the way Max is. I can love him until the day he goes to the butcher. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
So at least that way they know you'll care for them. And it's just like Jamie and our milk cows. We always give them pets, we talk to them, and we always be kind to them. If they got something hurt or something, you always help them. And they appreciate that, even if they don't show it, but you know they do. So just remember, keep your fences all good order.
Yeah, Greg!
And, so if you have chores to do,
Just give her, eh?
if you have a fence break, don't panic. Just get her done.
You know what I say? Yeah, don't panic. And the other thing I would say is, if you manage to get 1 or 2 of your fences up, and you're all by yourself, for God's sakes, don't pull a Bernie and try to move one to readjust it and it falls. Because then, by God, the panic will set in. Because you see the bulls coming back and oh my God!
And
so
also,
yeah.
when you're in a panic mode and you got to rush, leave all the keys in ignitions.
Well, Rusty, I guess we're going to put the fence to the test because your ladies are coming.
So just remember next time, just take it easy and play safe.
Yep, and if there's an emergency, forget the damn camera and take care of your emergency. Film later.
Yeah.
At least that's what we're gonna do always.
Yeah, it's
'Cause-
better to talk about it after we calm down and
Oh fuck
have a
yeah.
drink of water.
Yep. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna suck back some Jersey milk
Oh yeah, that sounds
and chill. So much for my popcorn and Warcraft day. Alright. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon with the tractor video, because we are gonna start probably next weekend pulling wood for the winter. So
Yeah.
cheers.
And this time, we ran short last year, so we need 8 loads.
Well, I don't even think we did 6 last year. Come on.
We did 6.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Positive?
Just weird. No,
You don't look positive.
I'm positive we
But
did.
you know what? We had a month-long cold snap, and that just sucked the wood right out.
Yeah, we went through wood like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that was what? Below minus 25 for sure, usually
It
minus
went down
30s.
to like minus 30,
It was
35.
cold.
It was
Yeah,
really cold.
it was cold.
And windy.
And windy. Okay guys, let's wrap this up. Thanks to all of our new subscribers. Thank you. And if you're watching this video and you like it, please subscribe. Usually we put out one every week. We didn't put out one last week because we had company.
Yeah.
And yeah, have a good one guys. See ya.
Say bye, Rusty.
Dickhead.